Do 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 do. Hi, how are you doing? Actually, I've been outside walking most of the day. Walking in the park. Actually thinking about my book. Also a Syrianist translation from the ancient Greek. You know, ancient Greek translations don't pay that very well, but it's abundantly fun, for me anyway. It's very revealing. Now, I got a list here that I finally wrote out, but these are all points that I've said years ago. And I live by these points, and anybody that's known me for quite a while, which is probably not a good thing, will admit that I said all of these things before, but I've never said them all together. And I've got a list here. I know you can't read it, but I'll read it off. And it's a list of things that people do. And I've lived my life with the premise of, by the way, the ancient word for common or public is also the same word for profane. I have lived my life from the position that what is popular is never true, and what is true is never popular. So by logical analysis, Platonic retroduction, even if you don't know what that is, I've lived my life based upon one principle only. And it's too bad that doesn't apply to health, right? I guess I'm fat right now. Guess I'm fat. I know I'm fat. I sit behind the computer too much writing and typing. Probably developed carpal tunnel syndrome. I live my life based upon the principle that looking at what other people do, which is popular, which is profane by definition, and you weren't taught that sort of stuff growing up in school. However, this is what the smartest people that lived in the ancient world believed and professed outright, for which they themselves were shamed, is that whatever's popular is not true, therefore you should be doing the opposite. And these are the principles. I made a list of things that people do, and this is applicable to YouTube. While I'm on social media, YouTube's a form of social media. I've said since day one, I don't like social media. I don't believe in social media. I mean, it's good to communicate with people. I mean, we all have to admit that like some of the richest people in the world are morons, and the only reason they got there is because they're really good at schmoozing. You could probably think of like a dozen people off the top of your head that are probably billionaires or multimillionaires that are idiots. And they didn't make it there because they inherited the money, but they made it there, nor on their brains. They made it there because they're really good at schmoozing. Remember the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know? Well, that's extremely true. If you don't believe that, then you're delusional, quite frankly. So this is a list of all the things that YouTubers like to do. And I made a checklist here. And since I live my life and everything I do as doing the opposite, and this, of course, isn't to be applied to all things. I mean, like, most people are generally, nice to children. I'm not saying, like, do the opposite of that. That's taking the analogy too far. So this is the list, and all of these things are undeniably true. And I've made sure to do exactly the opposite of these things. So I'm going to make a checklist. I'm going to name them off. It says, be fake to other people and play nice with others just for the sake of getting along. Checklist. I don't do that. Shill for other companies and lie as a corporate puppet. Perfect. Don't do that either. Beg people to click, like, and subscribe. Okay, don't do that either. So I'm doing good so far. Post ClickWeasel affiliate links below to get enormous kickbacks. And I forgot to write in, make sure that you review really expensive stuff, because when you click on the affiliate link to buy that under a false pretense of recommendation, then the person gets a really good kickback by clicking that affiliate link and purchasing it. Try to be all things to all people. Absolutely never try to do that. Here's my number one thing that I absolutely can't stand. Peddle a sicko personality cult. I think everybody knows what a personality cult is. I mean, a cult in general is based around, a persona, a person. People are fallible. Outside of like 1/100th of 1%, everybody has some sort of pathetic desire, whether it's for sex or money or power, all of those together. Nobody should ever gravitate towards anything that even slightly smells like a personality cult. So I've definitely not done that. Make polished videos full of BS to impress the weak-minded and unintelligent. I don't edit my videos 99% of the time. I'm not saying all my videos are, wonderful content, but I just try to provide straightforward content. Make videos that are commercials and then add in other commercials. And no, I don't. No, since don't get free stuff, and don't shill for any company. Pander to weak-minded people for sake of self-gain. No, not doing that either. Sell trash and nonsense to others, like hats and scarves and other BS nonsense. I have fulfilled this checklist. I have striven. I said striven. I have driven myself to adhere to this over the years, and I've kept to it. I think I've actually done a really good job of it. Why am I laying that on the table? Here's the fact. We've all led different lives. And your life is not my life. I've not met you, and you've not met me. I know one thing for certain, and it's something that we weren't taught in school, and I wasn't taught in school, that the greatest joy in life, and this is why Nikola Tesla might have been an oddball or something, but the reason Nikola Tesla didn't date, or, he had some women that threw themselves on Nikola Tesla, but he actually said this out, and I forget the exact quote from Tesla, is that nothing compared to the unexalted ability to, peer into one's own mind and create stuff and invent. And the creative mind, which is the basis of wisdom, is the greatest joy on this earth. I mean, I adhere to two things. Number one, above all else, above anything and all else, wisdom above all else. Nothing, that's for me. Okay, and I don't want you to emulate that, although it would be nice if the world did. The world would be a radically different place. Wisdom above all else, period. Nothing comes before wisdom. It's the greatest joy, and it has nothing to do with life. It is transcendent to existential life, which is about waking up, taking a leak, taking a poop, as I used to say, a shard, a shower, and a shave, right? You can go into work, paying the bills, worried about taking a vacation, stuff in your face. It's actually what's called as a living on the oral anal axis, which means if you can't eat it or you can't have sex with it, then you probably don't care about it. And that's how most people are. And of course, that's bestial and that's animalistic. Some people that are hardcore humanists and atomists think that human beings are just no different than an animal. And if people want to act like animals, then that's certainly their prerogative. But the nobility of seeking wisdom and the fruits thereof is absolutely unparalleled. But the people that don't believe that have never, they don't bathe in, the bliss of wisdom. And the only reason I translate all these ancient texts for decades now, and it's been much of my life, is that it doesn't pay anything. I never thought my book on magnetism would be at all popular, I thought actually of the several books that I've written that this would be the least interesting book of all time. And, wow, just the opposite is true. I mean, that book is really popular. I never wrote it with any intention of it being popular. Maybe I should have known better, but I certainly, who cares about field theory? Really? Who? That's kind of stunning that book is popular. But I do only care about one thing. I've made sure to take this list, and this is what most people do, and that's fine, but I've lived my life on doing the exact opposite of what is common. Because the word for common, in ancient Pali, that word is puthujjana, by the way, and that word sounds like you're spitting, and that's not by coincidence, puthujjana. The word for common or commoner is the same word for profane. In other words, what is common or popular is the exact same denotation as the word for what is profane, base, vile. Because what is common? What is common is to act like an animal, to seek power, money, sex. I mean, that's popular. This is why the wisest people will ever walk this earth, far, far, far wiser than you or me. I included myself in that. I mean, this is why they, what is popular is profane. And if that's the case, and wisdom dictates that it necessitatively is, then I'm going to live my life doing exactly the opposite. You know, I don't tell anybody to subscribe or to like me. You know, I'm not selling anything to anybody. I don't have the face for video. I know this. Pretty smart guy. I don't have the voice for video. No. I don't really even have the personality for video because I'm not out to please people. I mean, I want people to be happy, but I'm not sitting there, you know, trying to pet someone's fur the right way for the sake of, you know, oh, everybody love me. I couldn't pull that off even if I wanted to, and I don't want to. Never going to happen. Has taking care of a wife dying of cancer for 10 years greatly affected me? Sure has. Actually, a couple of people questioned that. If you question it again, I'll bring my wife's dead ashes out of the back room there and set them here on the table, but that'd be a little bit profane. It'd be a little bit grotesque, a little bit profane. But, you know, I think you should do what makes you happy, you know? And I don't live my life based upon a popularity contest. I only care about one thing and one thing only. That's wisdom. As long as I have, you know, some spaghetti and some milk, and you know, I do jobs. I've really got like 4 jobs. I translate. I actually do paid-for photography, events and business and product photography. Really, really boring stuff. Stuff that is the most unglamorous. That's where all the money in photography is. Not taking pictures of chicks that have no money. It's like, wow, that's beautiful. That's glamorous. Wow, wow. Yeah, but there's no money in it. Except for like a dozen people, you know. There's literally like a handful of people in the world that can make money doing that. Wedding photography sucks. It's horrible. Especially when it comes to printing stuff. Never get into printing. Just don't do it. That's who I am. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of anything. I lived in Russia for quite some time. I've seen a lot of stuff. You know, there's nothing anybody is going to throw at me that's going to bring me down. And someone, of course, is going to reply to that statement and say, well, sure we can. We could do this from you. We could strip that from you. You could strip your car from you. You can take everything from you. We can beat you up. And someone says, we could take your fat tattooed butt. Actually, I got several death threats over the day. Oh, three death threats. I actually did get those via email. I don't care. I've got those before. There are people that are told to hate somebody and then they go off and hate them, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm not afraid of anyone or anything. Look in my eye. See if I'm lying. Most of the stress in my life is just due to a lack of time. There's 1,000 things that I want to do. I spent half the day walking. I made a couple of videos. I still think I had the flu. I took a few ibuprofen, so I'm feeling halfway decent. But that's who I am in a nutshell, you know? But if you want somebody to pet your fur the right way and blow smoke up your skirt, then you need to watch something else. I don't have the looks for video, and, you know, I am not, I've said this before, I am not running a popularity contest, and I am sure as hell not out to please people. I am not a people pleaser. But I'm also not out to ruin people, and I'm not out to, you know, sell them stuff and lie to them about what to buy or what to do. You know, I want people to be happy. Life is short and shitty. You know, even if you're rich. I know I've got quite a few rich buddies, and the only reason I think I have a lot of rich buddies, and I know this is the case, is A, I know a lot of crap that they want to know the answer to. They're always calling me for information, which pisses me off sometimes. And number 2, I've never asked any of them for money, because rich people have a problem. Is that other people that are not rich around them are always begging them for money and trying to... I never asked... I know quite a few millionaires. I don't give a damn about their money. I've never asked them for anything. So the fact that I know stuff and the fact that I don't give a damn about their money, I think that's why they like me. Well, actually, I know it is. One of them told me that, but that's who I am, you know? If you hate it, don't watch. Who cares? I see a lot of people that are doing all this stuff on the list that I just checked off, and I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what is on that damn list. Exact opposite. That's what I've been doing. That's what I'll continue to do. You know, I don't have a secret agenda. Sure as hell not the case. No, it's not. By the way, if you're wondering why I have a stinking Sony on my desk, is that someone let me borrow this to test out a couple E-mount lenses. This is the extra crappy A7R. So I had someone else ask me in another video, says, why do you got a Sony on your desk? It's not mine, I'm actually borrowing it. That was a pretty accurate statement. What about the Sony? Everything else was completely accurate that I said. All this was off the top of my head. I did make the list. I guess that was, well, that's always been in the back of my mind, is always to keep to that checklist. I live a very unusual life. I care about, by the way, I've got 12 leather journals. They're Amalfi. They're leather covered Amalfi journals with Italian Amalfi paper in there. And they're 250 pages each, and each one of them is completely full with handwritten notes, translations, discovery. I care about wisdom. I'm a total oddball. I spent countless years hanging out in the library because I wasn't taught anything in high school or college. I probably went to maybe a slightly better high school or college than you did, but ultimately it's the same. I mean, they were all garbage. They didn't teach me anything that was important. I realized that all these teachers that were teaching me crap were a bunch of morons, just repeating garbage that they were told to teach other people. It's like, I'm not learning anything. All they're doing is telling me to go home and read crap and memorize it and then regurgitate it on a goddamn test. That's how I live my life. I care about wisdom above all else. And that is, you know, people are right here. All people. Wisdom is up here. You see, you can't contradict that statement because logically and intelligently so, and wisely so, haha, to say that anything is above wisdom is, of course, an unwise statement. There is absolutely nothing above wisdom, so it's impossible to contradict that statement. It's one of the very few statements that nobody can contradict, because when they do contradict it, they've insulted themselves. I also left off a lot of the paradigms that the ancient Platonists, like Proclus, Numenius, Syrianus, Damasius, taught. They taught stuff that we should have been taught today. They said stuff like, to insult a fool is the praise of wisdom. Another statement is that the wise love him for the same reason the fools hate him. No one should ever try to be all things to all people. To do so is to be a profane person. It is to seek popularity. It is to seek a personality cult. And that is a sick thing. This was a highly accurate video. You may hate this video, but this is as real as it gets, at least, you know, coming from me anyway. Because that's how I live my life. My house is like a library. More than half my house is like a freaking library. And I'm going to go back to reading Gravitation and Co-Gravitation, which is a really dense book on field theory, and drink some mineral water and call it a night, since I have the flu, or I think I have the flu. I could have tetanus from where my hand accidentally got speared through the other day by a really long leatherworking needle. That was so much fun. So thanks for watching. I thought I would clear that up, because apparently a lot of people are confused, because I don't have an agenda. If you think I do, you're wrong. If I had one, I'd be a lot different person. I'd be like everybody else on this list. I'd be following this list instead of doing the opposite. People that follow this list want money, power, fame, and recognition. And I'm not doing any of that. Even the people that hate me know I'm not doing that. That's the fact, Jack. Lux Veritas. And catch you later. Maybe I should change my screensaver to like fish swimming. What do you think? What should I change the screensaver to? Fish swimming? Or like horses playing? Maybe like Teletubby. I kind of look like a Teletubby, don't I? I don't know what to change it to. It's kind of summertime now, sort of. So what should I change the fireplace to?